My name is Mousumi Bose. I am an assistant professor in the Department of Nutrition and Food Studies at Montclair State University in New Jersey. I'm soon to be associate professor come this fall. I have my BS in physiology and neurobiology from the University of Maryland and my PhD from Rutgers University in nutritional sciences. I'm also the mother of Ilan, who had a severe form of PBD-ZSD. And he was born in 2010 and he passed away in 2011, just after his first birthday. I started interacting with members of the GFPD around early 2011. Initially, my sort of interactions had to do with the sort of care and management of my child, because doctors really were they didn't really know what to do in terms of things like controlling his seizures, as well as other sort of symptoms that he was having. So I reached out to members of the GFPD community, and there was a parent that gave me some advice on another seizure medication. And that was my first interactions, is really seeking out advice. And then after Ilan passed away in 2011, I continued to keep in contact with individuals that were affiliated with the GFPD. And then I went to my first GFPD conference in 2012. And that's really where I started getting a little bit more involved with the leadership of the GFPD and started, letting them know that I had a bit of a science background, and if they needed any sort of assistance in facilitating some of their scientific initiatives, then I would be happy to participate in that. My whole experience with my son really enabled me to interact with the GFPD, and that experience also completely changed my career trajectory. I was doing research with individuals that were getting bariatric surgery, like gastric bypass and similar weight loss type surgeries, and studying like how the surgery affected their food intake and how it changed like their hormones. When I had Ilan, I had to stop working because he was so sick. Eventually, I had to just quit my job altogether to take care of him full time. So Ilan passed away in 2011. At the time, I was 37 weeks pregnant with Ilan's little brother. So 3 weeks after Ilan passed away, I gave birth to Itash, my second son. And during that time, like right after he was born, my previous employer came to visit and asked me to come back to the lab. Just the idea of like stopping what I was doing after Ilan was born and then restarting it made it seem to me that time with Ilan was just kind of like a little blip in my life, and then now I was just getting back to my life or whatever it was. And that's not how it was. My time with Ilan completely changed my life, and my priorities were totally different. I couldn't let that sort of play out in that way where, here I had to stop because I had a sick child, and now here I am back again. So I was looking to try to re-enter into academia, but not really sure how I was going to sort of proceed with that. That's really where I started doing a lot of stuff for the GFPD and being able to help facilitate some of their scientific initiatives was a really great start, because it allowed me to interact with other scientists that were studying this disease and doctors that were treating patients with this disease. And I think hearing their perspective on what they felt were like important research ideas and efforts and initiatives, and then sort of combining that with my own experience with Ilan kind of helped shape my own research interests in a totally different direction. As I started interacting with these scientific professionals, as I was interacting with these doctors, as I was interacting with these families and reflecting on my own experience with Ilan, I realized there were questions that I had that nobody was actually answering at that time. So I thought to myself, well, maybe I'm the person that should be answering some of these questions.